Alabama anthem. Don't throw your hands up, put it up. The Alabama anthem. Don't throw your hands up, put it up. Your ass, I ain't talking about Atlanta. I'm talking about the hill. I'm talking about the deal. ALABA, make this what I live. Alabama, where I was born. Alabama, where I'm from. Don't throw your hands up, put it up. Your ass, I ain't talking about Atlanta. I'm talking about the hill. I'm talking about the deal. ALABA, make this what I live. Alabama, where I was born. Alabama, where I'm from.
Saban and Tide.
ALABA, make this what I live. Alabama.
And yes, that background is the plains of Jordan-Hare Stadium. But we do a little extra with this rivalry every single year. It's the Iron Bowl. It's the 88th Iron Bowl. It's been 10 years since Chris Davis took it 109 yards and broke my heart. What's going on, everybody? Christian Ballard, Ballard Sports Media. You notice a little different intro this time, too. If I go through and remember to put it in. Anyway, I'll try to do that. This is week 12 of Tidal Wave Talk, at least game 12. Of course, had the bye week between Tennessee and LSU. Alabama looking pretty right now going into Atlanta next week. But this week, don't overlook it. It is the 88th Iron Bowl, another 2:30 edition on CBS and CBS Sports. Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson, I would assume, would be on the call for this game. And this will be I think it'll be a fun matchup. I do think Alabama can win by double digits. I am going to say this. It might look a little different as far as the spread, as far as the outcome of the game. If Auburn had not lost to New Mexico State, I'm not here to troll too much. I used to always bash Auburn, but I've kind of taken in Auburn a little bit. And quite honestly, I want to see Hugh Freeze have success. I want to see this rivalry be one. Why can't this one be like Michigan, Ohio State? I think it's bigger because I think there's some people out there that just don't understand the intensity of it when you play it and the history of it. But I wish it could be a ranked matchup all the time. I wish it could be top 10. I wish College Game Day could go there more often. I think the last time they went to the Iron Bowl, did they go in 2020? I want to say they went in 2020. But, I mean, even before that, it wasn't but 2017. So, it's not often. College Game Day, once again, is going to go to Ann Arbor for Michigan, Ohio State, and I don't blame them. This game, what would you have predicted the records to be? First off, would Alabama be sitting here today in the preseason? Would you have said, well, after this, they go to Atlanta? No, because of the quarterback questions, right? But Jalen Milroe has taken on this role. He's taken this identity, and he has taken this team to new heights. Auburn is going to make a bowl game. The question is, are they going to get that 7th win? And will they keep Alabama out of the playoffs? Or we think. I don't think Alabama, by the way, who's undefeated in the SEC, if they lose this game, they're still going to the SEC championship. They'll just have one conference loss, and they'll have 2 losses overall. What if they lost and then turn around and upset Georgia? And I call it an upset because we know Georgia's favored. Auburn could play spoiler. Alabama doesn't want to go to the playoffs with 2 losses. But what if they did? All Auburn is looking to do is get that 7th win and get their first Iron Bowl victory of this decade in the 2020s. Have not won. since 2019. They almost won in 2021. The years in between with 20 and 22 being in Tuscaloosa, I mean, you had 2020, the COVID year was 42-13. That was a ranked matchup. Last year, Auburn was not ranked, and it went to 4 overtimes. In 2018, Auburn was not ranked, 52-21. Okay. Alabama last year, 49-27. Auburn gave them a game, and that was with Cadillac Williams. Now it's Hugh Freeze's job. I don't know if Hugh Freeze is the right guy for the job. I have talked to a couple Auburn people that say, man, I just don't know. I say you give him some time. Don't pull the trigger like you did Brian Harsin. I understand Auburn wants to get back to that relevancy. I understand they want to get back to domination. I understand all of that. But you gotta give a guy time. You just have to. It's not going to work itself overnight. Brian Harsin not only came in to replace Gus Malzahn, he made it even worse. And that's fair. You cannot deny that. I mean, a lot worse. This is going to be a good game, I think. Well, for one team. It's possible Alabama goes in here. I'm going to compare it to recency real quick. I'm going to say it reminds me of 2015. Alabama had won that game with Derrick Henry 29-13. They had won by 16 points. The spread for this game, let's go ahead and pull up the graphic here from ESPN. The spread, by the way, the matchup predictor gives Alabama practically an 86% chance to win. They have it at 85.8. 10.5. 10.5. It has dropped. What I read the other day was actually, I'm sorry, that's the open. So they have this new thing on ESPN. I have it written down, right? The spread is 14.5. Okay. The open, it opened at 10.5. So it's gone up. Unless I just don't understand what the open is. Somebody that's an expert in sports betting, let me know about this stuff so I know in future reference. But it does say that the line and the spread is Alabama minus 14.5. That's good. That's fine. Were they a double-digit favorite, though, in 2021, and it took them to 4 overtimes? They only won by 2? That's right. I don't think this is 2021, though. I don't think it's 2021. I don't see it being 2019. I have a lot of confidence in Alabama in this game. And you could call me biased and crazy. I think they win by more than 14.5. More than 15, more than 16. We'll get to the score prediction later on. I'm excited for this Iron Bowl. This year makes 10 years since the infamous kick six play with Chris Davis. Let me take that off. Let's talk for a second. 10 years since the kick six. Big deal? Maybe for Auburn. 10 years ago was victorious as we snapped a 2-game losing streak to the Tide. Now they're trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. Is Alabama fixing to go on a run like they've had over Tennessee or LSU in years past? They've lost to those teams recently, obviously. Not this year, though. Not this year. Are they fixing to go on an Iron Bowl run? I don't know. I expect Hugh Freeze to find time to get over and beat Alabama. But Alabama, like I said, they've won this whole decade. This last decade that we're in. 20, 21, 22. Auburn has not won an Iron Bowl this decade. Think about that for a second. Let that marinate. I believe that Auburn is a good team. They're 6-5. They're going to a bowl game, which I'm happy for them. I want to see this rivalry be great again. I mean, it's always been great. What am I saying? Like, what the hell? Listen, this is a great rivalry. It might not be a ranked game this year. It might not have anything at stake other than bragging rights. But this is one heck of a rivalry. I just wish it could be a top 10 game like Michigan, Ohio State. I wish it could be like that. Even in some years, they at least have these teams be on the same level. They're either both good or they both really suck, right? You know what I'm saying? Have them be on the same level. They're just not on the same level this year or in recent years. Alabama has dominated being in the top 10, top 15 when they play Auburn. And Auburn is either ranked in the 20 to 25 range or not ranked at all. What does Auburn have to lose? If they lose this game, they're 6-6. They still go bowling. If they win, they ruin Alabama's playoff chances most likely. Because who's going to put a 2-loss team in? But you give Alabama motivation for next week against Georgia, right? Let's look at some stats real quick. What are some players in this Iron Bowl matchup? Well, I'm going to say this. As far as I'm concerned, nobody is really hurt. And if we're going based off what we've seen this year, it should be Jalen Milroe and Peyton Thorne for the quarterback position, right? It should be. 10 years ago in that kick six game, it was Nick Marshall and A.J. McCarron. Alabama was looking for a three-peat, and Auburn stopped them. This year, Alabama's looking to avoid something they've never done before. They have never had 3 straight years without a national championship. Auburn can make that happen quickly if Alabama's not careful. Some players for Alabama, then we'll look at Auburn. Team leaders. Jalen Milroe is playing out of his mind right now, just getting better each week. 2,267 yards. Jace McClellan, 737 rushing yards off 151 carries. He averages 4.9 a carry. But if you want to go based off averaging yards, Roydell Williams, 5.5 a carry. Jermaine Burton is the lead receiver for the Crimson Tide, has been all season long, 642 yards for him. Isaiah Bond, know the name. Kobe Prentice, know the name. C.J. Dupree, Amari Niblack, know the names. Malik Benson. There's so many different they're young, but they're good, talented receivers that Alabama can throw to, that Jalen Milroe can throw to. Know those names. Look at the defensive side. Caleb Downs, a free safety. Freshman, 90 tackles. Terrion Arnold, a hard-hitting defensive back, has 3 interceptions. Jahad Campbell has half a sack for 2 yards. He had that a couple weeks ago. Deontay Lawson with 2 sacks. Justin Boygby with 5 sacks. Tresman Marshall, Georgia linebacker transfer, 2.5 sacks. Quandarius Robinson is a freshman, 1.5 sacks. So many sacks for Alabama this year, and 32 in total for 224 yards lost. It's crazy, man. How many interceptions do they have in total? 10. 37 passes defended. 10 interceptions for 103 yards. This defense is definitely playing that joyless murder ball that Dallas Turner talked about at media days this year. Can they play it against Auburn? Thing is, they're going to have to get into the crowd, because I heard rumors this offseason that Auburn sold out their home games. Home crowd sellout for the Iron Bowl. I don't know if that's true. It wasn't enough for Georgia, but will it be too much for Alabama? I'm not going to deny that it can't. I'm just going to sit here and say Alabama just needs to play great. They don't need to play good. They got to play great. Because look at Auburn's side. Let's look at their stats. Peyton Thorne is their quarterback, transfer from Michigan State, 1,500-plus yards throwing. Jarquez Hunter, I love Jarquez Hunter. Great running back. Fast, speedy. He gets open, he's gone. 772 rushing yards. Receiving yards, their tight end, Rivaldo Fairweather, 349. On the defense, Eugene Asante, linebacker, 79 tackles, leads the team. Jalen Simpson, cornerback, 4 interceptions. That's a matchup I want to see, actually. I want to see Jalen Simpson on either Isaiah Bond or Jermaine Burton. One of those two guys he'll probably be covering if he's healthy and he's playing. I haven't seen any injuries for the Iron Bowl this week. So, and I didn't think to look it up because I'm so excited about what they have on the rosters and everything. Please provide me with any information you know as far as injury updates. I would appreciate it. But going off stats and what Auburn has, you have Rivaldo Fairweather, Jay Fair, Javarius Johnson, Shane Hooks, Caleb Burton III as your main go-to receivers. Jarquez Hunter, he catches them out the backfield pretty often, 16 receptions for 111 yards. Averages 6.9 though. He's not one to get much yardage as far as a guy like Shane Hooks or Javarius Johnson or even Rivaldo Fairweather, the tight end. What about the defense? Years ago, even especially in that 2017 Iron Bowl, Auburn had a great defense. Have they had a good defense this year? Well, I'll say this, that they have talent. They really do. And the recruiting, by the way, is just phenomenal for Hugh Freeze right now. I'm going to give them props there. They're recruiting great. Go ahead and pull this back up on the screen here. DJ James is a corner with 34 tackles. But what about the sack monsters? Jalen McLeod is a linebacker, 5.5 sacks for 31 yards. Marcus Harris is a defensive lineman with 6 sacks for 32. Eugene Asante, I have heard that name all season. Keep an eye on him. 79 total tackles in the sack rating. He's got 5 sacks for 35 yards. He's got a pass defended. Jalen Simpson is the corner with 4 interceptions for 87 yards and one of them being a pick 6. He's recovered a fumble. He has not forced any, but he can find the football. He's going to be a guy that you want to cover if you're Auburn. You want to cover Isaiah Bond or Jermaine Burton with Jalen Simpson, as I mentioned. So you want him out there. You want him healthy, and you just want a great game overall. We keep this up. We'll talk about it a little bit more. I think that this is going to be an amazing matchup. I just don't think it's going to be fair. Like, I think that there's talent on both sides, and I do think Hugh Freeze is doing things for Auburn. But at the same time, Nick Saban, he's got a plan. But that Jordan Hare voodoo, will it get to Alabama? They can win by double digits in this game. They're favored by double digits. It's just going to depend on how well Alabama wants to play come Saturday. All right, time to get into our predictions for this one. 88th overall Iron Bowl, annual Iron Bowl. Haven't missed a year. It was suspended for a while. They've had some great moments, too. The comeback of 2010, the kick 6 of 2013 when Auburn won. What about Wrong Way Bo in 1984? 1985 Van Tiffen, the kick. I just wrote an article about that on the website, too, by the way. You can go check it out, ballardsports.wixsite.com. 2000 was the first Iron Bowl played at Bryant-Denny. Auburn won 9-0. They kicked 3 field goals. 2014, the highest scoring Iron Bowl in history, 99 total points. As number 1 Alabama got into the playoffs that year, won the SEC, defeated number 15 Auburn, 55-44. 2019, I don't know what you want to call that, the offsides or whatever you want to call it, the too many men game, where Bo Nix was a freshman. Mac Jones replaces Tua Tagovailoa. There were 2 pick sixes in the game. It was just a crazy shootout. I call 2021 the 8-quarter ball game because it was 4 overtimes. So you have 4 quarters and then 4 extra sessions. That was crazy. There had never been an overtime in Iron Bowl history. Never. They had ties, but never overtime. So that was a first. That was special for this rivalry. Auburn won the first 2. You look today, Alabama's won the last 3. It's crazy. What's the longest win streak of this rivalry, by the way? 9 games for Alabama from 1973 to 1981, right? That's a long time. Well, they've won 3 straight. So that being said, it's time to get to our score prediction. I'll just go ahead and throw it up on the screen. I try to be I am obsessed with this rivalry. I really am. And it's almost unhealthy. I love it. I love it as a fan. I love both teams. I hope they play a good game. But I'm just going to be honest. Alabama's going to definitely cover this game. And I think they're just being generous with this 14.5. Like I said, it is Iron Bowl week. We will be live on the channel. I'm going to go ahead and give a score prediction, though. I'm going to say Alabama dominates Auburn here. Call me crazy, but I think they want to run the ball well, play the best offensive line game they've ever had this season, throw the ball out, be explosive. Jalen Milroe had a game this year where he ran for like 4 touchdowns against Kentucky. Incredible. You don't think he can do it to Auburn? Kentucky was ranked. Auburn's not. Auburn is struggling. It's not the Gus bus, it's the struggle bus for Auburn this year. But I'll go ahead and give you my score prediction. I'm going to say by 20 points, Alabama wins. It's going to be the biggest victory they've had in a long time at Jordan-Hare Stadium. 37. It'll be weird because we'll have some field goals and stuff in there. But I think it could end up being something like 37-17. That's what I'm going to go with. That's what I'm confident in. And Alabama, get back to domination in this rivalry. Get back to it. This is going to be great. This is your moment. Get back to it. Oh, what do you mean get back to it? They've won the last 4. I'm saying. Or last 3, whatever. I'm just saying, go into Jordan-Hare and do what you did in whatever you did in 2011 and 2015. Because you lost a few there. And 2021, you almost lost, but you pulled it off, which I'm proud of as a fan. But I just think Auburn looks back 10 years and says, what if we could do it again? You know how hard that would be to do? It'd be pretty hard. I just don't see it happening. You could catch Alabama off guard by surprise and pull an upset, but it would be close. Auburn has to play fast, and so does Alabama's defense has to play fast and cut back on penalties in this game, which I think they could be very well disciplined. I believe in Kevin Steele. Kevin Steele knows what Auburn's capable of doing offensively. He was their defensive coordinator for a while. He saw it solid in practice. Kevin Steele can take care of business. I believe in him. Let's get it done. I love you guys. Happy Thanksgiving. Jesus loves you. God bless. And let's go beat Auburn on Saturday. We'll be live for the game right here on Ballard Sports Media. Please like and subscribe for more sports content. And from an Alabama fan, roll Tide, roll! Let's go win the Iron Bowl, baby. Woo!
The Alabama anthem. Roll those your hands up. Put it up your ass. I ain't talking about it down till I'm talking about the hell. I'm talking about the deal. ALABA, this what I live.
game over here in the fourth. Saban and Tide on top.